New planes, more seats and a better experience.
Yes, beautiful aircraft.
Qantas's new CEO hopes it will improve the airline's turbulent relationship with customers.
What I've heard from those customers is on-time performance, reliability, and lowering cancellations is number one for them.
Qantas is also investing in more call centre staff, faster Wi-Fi speeds on international flights, and it's getting global advice on the latest advances in AI. Vanessa Hudson says airfares have fallen since December 2022, when the airline was accused of raising prices.
They've come down by over 10% across both Qantas and Jetstar, across both domestic and also international.
The airline blamed lower airfares for a 13% fall in profit to $873 million in the 6 months to December, after making $1 billion in the same period in 2022. But those earnings will come under pressure as Qantas plans to spend billions of dollars renewing its fleet.
They might want to spend some of those profits on getting their flights on time.
Yeah, we have delays every week now.
Shareholders say it's early days in the airline's turnaround journey.
Brand can be broken in a day, but it takes a very long time to repair.
The aviation giant is still facing many headwinds. There's a looming ACCC case against the airline, alleging it sold customers flights that were already cancelled, as well as a class action, and calls for the government to consider whether it needs to break up Qantas to improve competition.
Probably a bit late to break them up, but it's worth looking at to have a very strong effect on business behaviour.
But another former competition watchdog boss who now works for an aviation industry group thinks there's enough competition.
What I want to do is to urge everyone just to take a chill pill and wait for the proper bodies, the Productivity Commission, the ACCC and Federal Treasury, to give their unbiased reports that are laced with intellectual integrity. Then we'll know if there is price gouging occurring.
Continued pressure on an airline trying to reinvent itself.
The Qantas CEO was focused on shifting the narrative from big profits we saw under her predecessor Alan Joyce to now investing in customers. I spoke to Vanessa Hudson inside the Qantas hangar about her strategy for the long haul. Vanessa Hudson, welcome to the business.
Thanks, Alicia.
Your statutory half-year profit fell in the period compared to last year. How would you categorise today's result?
We've got a really good result today, and as you say, the profit is down on the prior period, but it's down for two reasons. One is that airfares have come down, and we said that they would come down as capacity came back. So across both Qantas and Jetstar, we've seen airfares come down by over 10%. And the other thing that's a feature of our profit this year is that we're investing more in the customer. And that's actually a really important part of us focusing on delivering value for customers, but also making sure that we rebuild trust and pride that Australians have in the national carrier.
On the price of airfares, you say they're down 10% on December 2022. Of course, that was the peak of revenge travel. Do you have a comparison that perhaps takes them back to pre-COVID levels? How are airfares performing compared to pre-COVID levels?
I think the one thing that I'd say about comparing it to pre-COVID, it's not apples for apples. And that's because pre-COVID we've seen fuel price 50% higher than what it was pre-COVID. We've actually seen CPI for 4 years, which means that that's running at about 19%. So it's really important to, I think, put it into context. We're all about value for customers, and Qantas and Jetstar are focused on delivering that. So Jetstar in the last 12 months delivered 12 million fares under $100. We're investing more in more low-cost seats on Jetstar, so 400,000 seats will be in the market across international and domestic Jetstar networks. So that's investing in more low fares for customers. Jetstar and Qantas are on sale all the time. Qantas is putting sales out at least 35 times a year and Jetstar up to 135 times a year. And with Qantas, we've delivered over 1 million seats under $200, and we have over 5 million frequent flyer seats on offer at any point in time. But it is about value, and that comes back to what are we doing to make sure customers feel like they're getting value for money. So that's about delivering a great experience. It's about delivering fantastic on-time performance and reliability. It's about making sure that we're investing in the right areas, and when things don't go to plan, because things often don't go to plan, that we recover better than ever before. So all of that is really important in making sure that customers feel good and the value that they have.
Under your predecessor, Alan Joyce, Qantas was repeatedly criticised for putting profits and investors before customers. Do you have the balance right now?
We always are focused on making sure that we strike the right balance, and that's striking the right balance with customers, with our people, and also with our investors. And that's an ongoing thing. It's never a destination. And the one thing that I'm focused on is that we're listening all the time. So we're listening to customers. I spend lots of time talking to customers on aircraft, in airports, in focus groups about where are we improving, what do we need to improve better. But also talking to our people. Our people spend more time with our customers than I do, and so they are an amazing source of feedback for us in terms of are we getting the balance right. So it's going to be a constant focus and a relentless focus that we have going forward.
And what are your customers telling you that you do need to do better?
Customers are always saying a couple of things. One, make sure reliable flight. On-time performance is very important, particularly when you're travelling internationally and you've got connections or onward connections. So we're absolutely focused on that. We've seen a really significant improvement in the last 3 months in on-time performance, and we've seen a direct improvement in customer satisfaction. But it's also about the in-flight experience. Wi-Fi has been a big piece of feedback that we've had, and today you would see that we've announced that we're putting international Wi-Fi now across all of our Qantas international services, but also Jetstar 787s.
And in terms of the Jetstar Qantas breakdown, Jetstar performed much better than Qantas. Is that a signal to you that customers are starting to trade down?
No, not at all. We're actually seeing really strong demand for premium leisure, but also corporate demand remains strong. And Jetstar is also seeing that leisure, low-cost leisure and low-fares leisure is also very strong. So we feel that with the dual brand that we've got here domestically, but also internationally, we're really well positioned as an organisation to meet the needs of customers as demand patterns change.
And of course, there's another $400 million share buyback announced. Do investors really need another one when there is a focus on customers now instead?
It's about the point that you made before. It's about striking the right balance. And so what the profit has enabled us to do, it's enabled us to reinvest that profit in new aircraft. That's fantastic for customers. It's fantastic for our people. We're growing, so we're going to be investing 8,500 new people over the next decade, but it's also great for the community and great for customers.
In full year 2025, there's $3.9 billion worth of capital expenditure coming up. Is that going to put an end to the run of profits that we've seen?
Well, actually, when you're investing in new aircraft enable you, because of their efficiency, to open new routes. The engines are more efficient, they consume less fuel. So that's going to enable us to generate the cash that we need to continue to reinvest in this new fleet. So we think it's about, as we said before, striking the right balance. And we also have the flexibility to be able to change if demand patterns change, if the competitive environment changes. So we feel really confident that as we move through this renewal process, that we can balance all of those outcomes.
You have the outcomes of 2 court cases hanging over your head at the moment, costs relating to the illegal sacking of ground workers and also the ACCC's allegations of so-called ghost flights. Will the costs relating to those outcomes impede your business?
I take those court cases really seriously, and with the ground handling, I want to see that settled as soon as possible. For the former employees to be compensated as soon as possible, and we're actually seeing that the court case to determine that is coming up in the next month. And very similarly with the ACCC, we also recognised that the period that allegation related to was a very difficult period post-COVID, and we also said at the time we didn't get it right. But the one thing as well that we do say is that when there is a disruption, we will always act in the best interest of the customer to get them either a refund or on their the closest available flight. So that process is running through, but I don't see that impacting long-term profit outcomes. But we are looking forward to the quick resolution of both those matters as soon as possible.
And on another front, Alan Fells obviously has released a report into competition and singled out Qantas when it comes to price and lack of competition in the market. Are you worried about a more competitive regulatory structure impacting the airlines?
I think our focus is on always being a good competitor in the domestic market. Domestically, we've actually seen for the first time in decades that there are 4 jet competitors in this domestic market. The Australian domestic aviation market is the most open market in the world. Internationally, we actually see 52 airlines competing with us internationally. So our focus though, and I know that customers have a choice, and my focus is to make sure that we are always delivering the value that they expect from us, both in terms of our premium offering, but also Jetstar, the low cost and low fares offer.
And what do you make of the idea that has been proposed in that same Alan Fells competition report that Qantas could be broken up given its market power?
Look, I think that I come back to just demonstrating to our customers, to our regulators and our stakeholder community that we are performing, we are delivering for customer outcomes, we're adding value, we're investing in Australia. We're investing in Australia by investing in new aircraft, both for Jetstar and also for Qantas. And that's just not good for Qantas, it's good for our customers, it's good for the communities that we serve, and it's actually going to grow employment in Australia. So I think that that's got to be our focus.
And you said you're not done when it comes to the journey on rebuilding customer trust. When will you be done?
I'm going to be focused on getting back to our best, but I'm not going to stop there. As long as I am CEO, I'm going to be challenging myself to continue to do better for our people, for our customers, but also for our shareholders.
On sustainability, you say you're on track for 10% of sustainable aviation fuel by 2030. How much is that going to reduce emissions?
So emission reduction will come a number of ways, from sustainable aviation fuel, from also more efficient aircraft, and as you say, we are on track to achieve that. It's going to be one of the hardest challenges that we actually have, because decarbonising aviation is very challenging, but we are working really hard with our partners. So with Airbus and Boeing, we're working on projects to establish and access sustainable aviation fuel in the US. We already pick it up in London, but also we are investing here in Australia. We've got a number of investments in Queensland and also Western Australia. So having a sustainable aviation fuel industry here is what we think is really important, not just for aviation, but important for Australia in achieving our collective emissions and collective sustainability targets.
Vanessa Hudson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.